6.5 are market fair. Two groups of ideas about the fairness principle, utilitarianism and the symmetry principle, and the relation between fairness and efficiency. Two schools of thought regarding the fairness of the efficient allocation of resources in a competitive market focus on whether the results of the allocation of resources are fair and on whether the rules of the economic allocation of resources are fair. The first school of thought is it's not fair if the result isn't fair. One school of economic thought regarding efficient resource allocation is based on the general idea that it is not fair that individuals have dramatically different incomes. For instance, this school of thought contends that it is not fair that the CEO of a firm earns significantly higher than the common laborer. From within this framework, some early economists believed in the idea of utilitarianism, that the value of an economy is maximized when each person owns an equal amount of the resources. Wealth can be transferred from high income earners to low income earners by taxing the high income earners. But taxing people's income from employment discourages work. It results in the quantity of labor being less than the efficient quantity. Taxing people's income from capital discourages saving. It results in the quantity of capital being less than the efficient quantity. The end result is that quantities of both labor and capital will decrease and the economy will shrink in absolute size. A second source of inefficiency associated with transferring wealth from the rich to the poor through taxation is administrative costs. Taxation involves cost of collecting taxes and auditing returns to enforce compliance. There is significant time and effort devoted to calculating taxes by taxpayers. All of the resource and labor used in these activities could be used to produce other goods and services that have value to customers. It's not fair if the rules aren't fair. A second school of economic thought is based on the symmetry principle. In Anarchy, State and Utopia, 1974, Robert Nozick argues that results are irrelevant to the idea of fair resource allocation. Fairness must be based on the fairness of the rules. He suggests that fairness adhered to the two rules. The first is the governments must recognize and protect private property, which means everything that is must be owned by individuals and the government must enforce private property rights. The second is private property must be given from one part to another only when it is voluntarily done, which means that the only way an individual can acquire property is through its exchange for something else that he owns, including his own labor. Nozick argues that if these uniquely fair rules are followed, the results will be fair. It doesn't matter if the whole economy is shared equally as long as it is constructed by the same individuals, each of whom provides services on the voluntary basis in exchange for economic benefit. That is, what is means by symmetry. Individuals get goods and services from the economy that are equal in value to their contribution to the economy. It is nothing but equality of opportunity. Chapter review. Ideas about fairness divide into two groups, fair rules and a fair result. Fair rules require private property rights and voluntary exchange, and a fair result requires income transfer from the rich to the poor.